Hi class, and welcome back. We are now in week 8, if you can believe it, and we're in lesson 8.1. Actually, there is only one lesson for week 8 because most of the week you're going to be working on your first draft of your Biomimetic Design Project, which I'm so excited about for you. So to get started on the week, I want you to go back to what we looked at in week 5, which is the document describing your Biomimetic Design portfolio project. And I want you to read it carefully this time. I know in week 5 you kind of scanned it to get a sense of what you were getting into. And this week I want you to look at it really carefully because at the end of the week you'll make your first complete draft of your portfolio project. And by complete, I mean all the elements have to be there. They have to be in good shape. You're going to have time in week 9 and 10 to change it and revise it, but by draft, I do not mean that it's incomplete. It needs to be complete, okay? But there will be time for revision. So this time, so the past few weeks you've been going through each of these steps one at a time, and now in week 8 you're going to go through all of them, putting them all together into your project. If you've been doing a good job on your project update reports, all the different steps, you'll be able to leverage a lot of that material this week when you're putting together your report, which should be great. And again, just like we talked about in week 5, your final project design report is going to have a design brief, which you've written and rewritten a few times now. You're going to describe all the steps in your design process, which is a really important part of your design report, as well as the design itself, and then your design presentation. You'll describe your design proposal, which is what you'll do, or what you'd like the client to do after you get done with your project. Okay, just to go through again what your design process is going to be, and this is exactly the same as we talked about in week 5, but I know at that time you weren't really thinking about it all that much. You're going to take at least 5 laps around the Challenge 2 Biology Design Spiral. Okay, so when I say 5 laps, you go through identify, interpret, discover, abstract, emulate, and evaluate. That's 1 lap. Okay, you're going to do that at least 5 times. And you're going to document your process each time. And again, the steps you've taken already and these previous steps should help quite a bit. You're going to end up with at least 3 functions that your design will express, or your design is performing. Okay, so 3 different functions, and we've talked a lot about what a function means. When you go through these 5 laps, you're going to end up with at least 3 strategies per function. Okay, so it's 9 strategies, 3 for each function. Okay, so each time I'm not expecting you to hold on to everything, because remember, especially the first few times, you're just trying to figure out what you're doing. You're going to end up with just 1 strategy per function. If you have more than 1 strategy, that's fantastic. If you have more than 3 functions, that's fantastic. But you need to end up, your design has to have 1 strategy for each of 3 functions, okay? You're going to evaluate your whole design against all of life's principles, but your final design really only has to reflect 5 life's principles. So if you look at the whole butterfly, so whatever you see on that, each one of those is a life's principle, and you want to make sure you do a good job of showing how you're meeting at least 5 of those. And again, you're going to document your process to put in your report. For your design presentation, you're going to show what the overall design is, the 3 functions that you're emulating, or 3 or more, the strategies used to perform each function, which of life's principles you're emulating, and then how and why your project is innovative and sustainable. And this is going to be really good for your portfolio project, to have in your portfolio for later. So be thinking about not only what you need to do for this class, but if you're a student that needs to have a good portfolio, be thinking about that at the same time. So if you want to add something else for that purpose, feel free to do so. In your design presentation, this is going to be more illustration oriented, with text highlighting to help explain how you did all these things. And a really good example of it is a project done by Stephanie Kohler. She just graduated from MCAD's Sustainable Design online program in the spring of 2013. And she also used her thesis project to submit to the biomimicry Student Design Challenge, and her project was called Soul Drip. You're going to do two things. You can look at this website to see what she submitted for that project and how she did her drawings, but more importantly, you're going to read her thesis, because it describes not only her design, and so you can see how biomimetic design is done by someone who's had actually less information than you. Steph didn't have a chance to take biomimetic design. We just worked with her directly to figure it out. And then her thesis also reflects what she thinks of the biomimicry process as a tool for sustainable design. I think that provides some really good insights for all of you as you go off to figure out how to use what you've learned in this course as part of the broader picture of sustainable design. And then you're also going to do another BCI as you do each week, and this time you're going to be visualizing your biomimetic design. Okay, so I want you to visualize it, and then you're going to reflect on what it animates you, excites you about your project. And I'm going to emphasize again spiraling. You might notice I added a few more in here because, again, I want you to go through it 5 times. And as you'll see from Steph's thesis, she probably went through it hundreds of times, and she just each time more and more organisms, more patterns. Now, this was a thesis project, a design competition project, so you certainly don't need to do as much as she did, but you do. One of the things you'll learn from her is it really helped her to go through it over and over and over again, and it really helped her a lot too to go through these little ones at the beginning to try and sort out what is it she really wanted to do, because at the beginning she came in with a completely different idea about her project, and it was a great start. And it wasn't that, oh, this isn't what I want to do. It was, oh, this is helping me see more clearly what I do want to do. And her final project really didn't look anything like what she started with, but that was a very, very important step for her to start at that point, and then go through the spiral to refine and adjust what she was doing. Okay, that's all we're going to talk about for this week. You guys spend, almost 7 hours of this week of your 9 hours working on your project. And again, 7 hours, you could probably spend 70 hours on this, but that's not the intent. Your intent is to use this project to practice what you've learned in this course and get something down on paper, okay? Not to come up with the most amazing design in the world, okay? And so to put it in context, again, we want you to have a complete draft done, meaning it looks like a finished project. In week 9, you're going to evaluate your own project against life's principles. You're going to do so. You're going to have a lot of time to do that. And then you're going to evaluate one other of your colleague students' designs and give them really thoughtful feedback, okay? And then in week 10, you're going to use your own evaluate plus the evaluation done by one of your fellow students to improve upon your design and discuss what you learn and what you're going to improve on, and then go ahead and finish the final draft of your project. And of course, the more you do this week, the easier week 10 will be on you, as I'm sure you've got other stuff piled up at that last week of this semester. Okay, I look forward to seeing what you come up with at the end of the week, and enjoy the process. Okay, see you next week.